Welcome back everybody to video number 5 of 8. Today we're going to talk about how to measure your food and when you should be eating. Hey everybody, Chris Schaefer here for video 5 of 8 of our nutrition series. Today again we're going to talk about how to measure your food and when you should be eating. Okay, so as a warning, just to let you know, this episode is going to be very mathematical. A lot of numbers we're going to throw at you. Hopefully it doesn't deter you, because this is very important. This is kind of how you find out what you should eat. Okay. These numbers here are also not 100% like mathematically calculated out for everything. It's very general. But I will say with this system, it's a lot easier because you can kind of generalize things. Eventually you can kind of take it to the next level, and if you calculate out everything, you can kind of see where everything exactly falls. These are just some general numbers I'm going to throw at you today. Kind of makes it a little bit more user friendly, okay? So first thing we're going to talk about is our layouts of our macronutrients. The last video we found these, so if you haven't watched that, go ahead and watch that before you see these so you know where these numbers come from. On that video we talked about, for our example, protein, carbs and fats. For protein, 105 grams, carbs 180 grams, and fat 45 grams, and that's our daily amounts. Then we said we ate 5 times a day, so we broke it down, divided by 5, so we finished with 21 grams per serving, 36 grams of carbs per serving, and 9 grams of fat per serving. Okay, so we knew all that already. Okay, new stuff we're going to talk about today: how to find what that means. Where do you get 21 grams of protein from? So the first thing we're going to talk about today is the amount of macronutrients in this food. So again, these are general. Well, this is the normal amount, but so 16 ounces equals 1 pound of food. So let's take the example of chicken breast. If you see chicken breast, they typically at the store come in pounds. They're not perfect, but you kind of have to work with it, get a general idea. And again, we're talking about whole foods. We're not talking about a bag of stuff. We're not talking about eating out. We're talking about things like meats, vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, things on the outsides of the aisle. Okay, so for our protein, we're going to use chicken as an example, meat, things like that. So with proteins, it's roughly, and again, these are numbers that are kind of just generalized, for every ounce of food, every protein you get, so again, we'll use chicken, roughly about 4 to 6 grams of protein is in that ounce. So if we're breaking that up for the 21 grams per meal, for this example, you should be getting 3 to 5 ounces per meal of, in this case, chicken. Okay, so some people say the size of your fist. That's a good way to go by it. Again, this isn't perfect, but maybe if you start with that, go from there. If it's too much, dial it down. If it's not enough, you're still hungry, put it up some. Second one we got are the carbs. So this one's going to be your highest amount. A couple disclaimers here. Make sure you're making distinctions between starches and fibers. So if you think of heavy carbs, rices, things, versus vegetables, because they are very different. So we broke that down to starches and fibers there, as far as your rices, your pastas, and your more vegetable style. 4 to 6 grams of carbs, 2 to 3 grams in the fiber. So for there, and to get 36 grams per meal, you're looking at 6 to 9 grams of starch, and if you just did vegetables, 12 to 18 grams. That's a lot. You know, it's good to mix those up, because that is a lot of vegetables. It's kind of hard to eat over a pound of vegetables in a serving, in a sitting, especially with the meat and the fat, but again, you're going to have to mess with those numbers. Last one we're going to talk about is the fat. This one's probably your most diverse, just because it's a lot of things in the category that can fit in here. But for 1 ounce, you're looking at about 4 to 6 grams of fat. So again, this is very high caloric value. So in these meals, you're looking anywhere from 1.5 upwards of 2 ounces per meal. So you talk about nuts, they're a little higher in fat. So you want to make sure if you're eating nuts, you're not eating a whole bag, which you probably wouldn't anyways, but again, you kind of have to calculate that out. So all these numbers are kind of general, but they should give you some type of idea. I typically start with protein and then work my way down from there. ways to put this in, I would suggest using that app that you use to calculate out your food, to track your food. Maybe make some example meals, maybe very simple ones, chicken, broccoli, rice, put that in, certain amount of ounces because you can change the ounces, and then see what that lays out for you. Things aren't just protein, carbs, or fat, so they will have a little extra. Chicken is going to have some fat in it, things like that. Carbs, beans are very high in protein and carbs, and they have some fat in them depending on what kind. So you have to calculate that all out. It's not just going to be cut and dry there. Okay, so that's the first part we're going to talk about today as far as how to measure your food. Again, guys, use those apps. That's your easiest way. Maybe you just track what you eat and calculate from there, and then know, okay, well, I need some more meat or I need some more carbs in there. Next thing we're going to talk about is when you should be eating. Okay, so in our example, we said we ate 5 times a day, and this is including our snacks as well, protein shakes, things like that. So those are 5 meals throughout the day. This is, let's say, a typical day, 7 a.m. maybe to 10 p.m. down here. So most important part you want to look at is when you're working out. So let's say we work out here. Let's say we work out, and let's say that's around, let's say 5 p.m. Okay. So you think about this as kind of you wake up, working, you work out kind of after work, come home, and then nighttime or dinner. So work out 5 p.m. Your biggest meal should be preferably after, around your workout, but most of the time after, just to help recover. So this is probably going to be your first biggest meal. That one should be very high in protein and carbs and fat to help your body recover from your workout. Okay. So that's your highest meal. The rest of these, it just depends on how you feel. Me personally, I can't eat a big meal in the morning, so for me, my first meal of the day is more of a shake or something really small. If you can eat a lot in the morning, eat a lot there, that's good. As far as throughout the day, these are probably, just depending on you, and you may not even eat this many times, but typically you want to kind of break it up. So let's say we're going to have 3 meals, 3 entrees, so to speak, and let's do 2 snacks. So I'm going to do first biggest there, just because it's after a workout. Let's do our second biggest here. And that's going to be before a workout, so that's probably your lunch. That's probably going to be something that you eat higher in protein, good amount of carbs too, to kind of help when this workout comes around. And then let's say our third biggest is here. So this is our morning, this is our breakfast. Early, kind of get those calories, get the carbs, proteins in there, your fat. So let's say these 2, they're going to be our snacks. So let's say our snack is going to have a mid-morning snack here, and then at night we have a snack as well. So for these, maybe it looks like this. Maybe this is dinner. Maybe this is about 6 to 7. You get home from workout, you eat. This is your biggest meal. This is more your lunchtime. Maybe this is an hour or 2 before your workout. Hopefully not right before it, at least an hour before. This one is your breakfast. When you wake up, eat something nice, big, hearty meal for your day. This here is maybe some type of small snack, maybe some mixed nuts, maybe some fruit, vegetables with some dip, things like that. And then at night, let's say you're laying down, let's say you're still kind of hungry. It's not bad to eat. Your body needs some food. It's going to tell you. So this can be a snack, preferably healthy, preferably not a bag of potato chips or ice cream. Maybe this is something, more like vegetables, hummus, things like that. You can even do, like healthy versions of popcorn, make your own popcorn. That's not too bad. You can do, really anything. Just keep the calories down here, especially if you're trying to lose weight. But again, this is all general. This is not specific for any certain person. You may not be able to eat a lot in the morning, so this may be a snack for you, etc. But this is just kind of a layout, how you lay it out throughout the day. These you want somewhat balanced. And again, in a future video, we'll talk about how to optimize that, especially for your workout at 5. But for the rest of these, just try to find some type of time to eat, spread it throughout the day. Okay guys, so again, my name's Chris, and I will see you for our next video, number 6.